Hi, Leo. Welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so very much for being here and thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really do appreciate it. I want you to think of that person that's on your mind. I'm going to pull what they're thinking, what they're feeling. I want to see the energy going forward, see what's going on with this connection. And we're going to pull from the tarot. And I did bring out some oracle decks as well. If you're here because this is on your feed, then this message is for you. If you're here because of the title, which I don't even know yet, then this message is definitely for you. So let's get into this tarot. We have the Wheel of Fortune, things turning in your favor. I do see the Lover's card down here, so we'll see if that comes out later on in the reading. But be sure and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you like the messages. It really does help me to grow, but it also helps others to see the messages. So thank you for doing that. Interesting. Yeah, that Lover. So we have the Divine Timing card. This is karma, things turning in your favor. The wheel is starting to turn, right? So we all go through cycles in life and they can last various different times. But this is like an unexpected cycles changing and trusting in the cycles of life, right? Things moving forward. But it is like karma and good luck too. Opportunities, destiny. What they're thinking, we have the Six of Pentacles. This is about like that reciprocity. This is balance. It is equal give and take. So this person has the scales here in their hand, but they are giving to these people, but also keeping some for themselves, right? It's equal give and take, but it's also about like a community and generosity. They could be thinking about giving to this, right? This relationship, giving to this connection. What they're feeling, we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is very optimistic, very charismatic, that fire energy, right? So you could be dealing with another Aries, Leo, Sag, another fire sign. Could be dealing with another Leo. They could just be feeling that you are very fiery and passionate, right? But I feel like this is them, like confident and very sociable. You know, what they're thinking, this is all about like community and you know, whether that's their work community, friend community, and then you have the Queen of Wands who is all about like being social, right? So they could be very social. Maybe you guys are part of the same social group. That's a possibility. But they're feeling very confident and very passionate, very charismatic. What they're not telling you, so we have the Nine of Pentacles here. The Nine of Pentacles is that self-sustaining, self-sufficient type of energy. It is like that single, independent, feeling very accomplished energy. So I feel like this person is definitely very confident in themselves, very financially independent, could be successful, like, you know, materialistically, they have security, right? Material security. Maybe they are newly single. Maybe they haven't told you that they are, because this is my card for being single, right? Like it's a card about being able to handle yourself, being self-sufficient, but it's also my card of being single. So maybe they do enjoy being single, or maybe this is something that they haven't told you, that they are newly single and things are going to start kind of coming together here because of that. Their intentions, we have the Ace of Cups. This is a new emotional beginning, a new beginning in love, a new relationship here, offering this cup of love. I do feel like they intend to start something new here. And they want to offer this cup of love. Moving forward, we have the Four of Pentacles. This is stable. This is like, you know, that stability, but it's also about like releasing control and opening up to something new here. Could also be about boundaries. We'll definitely clarify that one. But the Four of Pentacles, it is about stability, but it can also be about holding on to things too tightly, right? But we will clarify. So Clarify the Six of Pentacles. Clarify what they're thinking, Spirit. So we have these Six of Swords, moving on, accepting lessons, leaving something else behind. So maybe they're leaving something that was not equal, right? Something that they were giving too much to. They were putting in all this effort and it wasn't being reciprocated. I feel like they're moving on from that. Again, with that getting single here, that being single, they could have moved on from something else. They could have literally moved as well, because this is my card for moving. So if you do know this person, they could have recently moved. But it could be just like a mentality too, right? Mentally moving on from the situation. Clarify the feelings, Spirit. Clarify the feelings. The Hermit. Yeah, I feel like they could have been very like closed off. So the Hermit is about being in solitude. It is about like that inner knowing, going within to kind of self-reflect and contemplate things. They could have been very withdrawn, sticking to themselves, but I feel like they were seeking like truth and wisdom here in something. And that could have been like looking at this, whether that's a community or an actual relationship, they were looking at something that just was not giving back to them. And they have, they're thinking about moving on from that. And that Queen of Wands is very charismatic and very outgoing, whereas the Hermit's completely different. But with the Hermit, it is maybe they're coming out of that hermit mode, right? And returning to more like social. Or they could be feeling, if this is something that wasn't giving to them and they are mentally moving on from that, thinking about moving on, thinking about like physically moving, maybe they weren't feeling very confident and they were feeling very withdrawn and being antisocial, because again, these are like kind of conflicting energies. So maybe they weren't feeling self-confident. Maybe they weren't feeling self-assured and passionate. But that's going to change. Things are kind of changing here. This, whatever this was that wasn't giving back to them, could have kind of taken their self-confidence. Yeah. I feel like it just kind of knocked their self-confidence here. Clarify what they're not telling the collective. So we have the Seven of Wands, standing up for yourself, standing up for your beliefs, being defensive. It can also be about like, it's again that lacking self-belief. Nine of Pentacles can be very much about self-worth. So maybe they're just not feeling worthy. But again, with this underlying energy of the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like things are going to start turning. And they're coming out of this. They're coming out of this lacking in self-belief, thinking that they can't do this, thinking that they're not good enough. Because this can very much be about their self-belief. Maybe they presented themselves in one way, like, they were very charismatic and outgoing, but underneath the surface, they just weren't, right? Let's see. Clarify their intentions, Spirit. So we have the Five of Pentacles, which is about loss, feeling abandoned. It's also like recovering from loss. And it's healing some kind of mindset or belief, right? So if they had this belief that they weren't good enough, or that they were lacking in themselves, I feel like they're really coming out of that and wanting to start fresh and new. Maybe they were in a relationship that really just kind of knocked them down, or whatever this community was for them that was not giving to them, that they are moving on from and moving away from. I feel like really kind of took a lot out of them. But they're coming out of that. And we have that Ace of Cups and Five of Pentacles. So clarify moving forward, Spirit. Clarify the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, like they're opening up and moving forward very quickly. So again, that Four of Pentacles is about stability, but it's also about, they could have, like, again, felt closed off. You've got the Hermit and you've got this Four of Pentacles, which is kind of holding on to things too tightly. But I feel like they are letting that go and really opening up and moving things forward very quickly. This is communication. This is swift, fast progress. So I feel like they are going to open up here after a time of just really being hard on themselves and their confidence. So what is the block here, Spirit? Yeah, see, the Moon is here. Like this underlying, this mask, this. So the Moon is very much like an under the surface, right? Things coming to light, like secrets coming to light. And it doesn't even have to be like, I mean, I think all secrets are bad, but I don't think they did it maliciously, right? I think it was just, they presented you with somebody who they were, and you didn't realize that they were lacking in that self-confidence. What is the block in this relationship, Spirit? No, there's no communication right now. So we have the High Priestess, which again is about secrets, but it's about communication and them not speaking up about their self-worth, about how they feel. What is this person's next actions, Spirit? They're going to come in pretty quickly, though. I mean, we've got the Knight of Swords here, and then you've got the Eight of Wands. I feel like this is going to happen pretty quickly, because I feel like that's a mindset change, right? Like they're moving on and changing this limiting beliefs, this feeling like they are in lack. This could have just been a belief system for them. But I mean, we've got them taking action and coming in pretty quickly. So the only thing I don't like about this energy with the relationship is that they could come in too fast, right? And needing the patience. So just be aware of that with things moving too quickly here, especially with somebody that is lacking in self-confidence. It can get toxic pretty quickly. But I feel like, trust your intuition on that. What's the advice for the collective? Yeah, I feel like this is you just taking a leap of faith, taking this risk, and really trusting that inner self-confidence. And then we have like celebration, community. There are two things here about community. We've got the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, which are both about community. So this could be, again, you guys could be part of the same like friend group, some kind of community. It could be a spiritual community that you're a part of. But I feel like this is you taking a leap, like taking a leap of faith, taking a risk here, and trusting your inner confidence, and really kind of, finding that abundance, that joy, that happiness again, celebrating with friends, finding your joy again. This person probably makes you really happy. But, I feel like things are turning around. So maybe they're just coming out of some kind of hermit mode here, right? If this person has been pulled back, then they're definitely coming out of that, charging through with that Knight of Swords energy. But this is happening fast. I mean, you've got the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So So we have foundation, established family security. Again, with that 9 of Pentacles, that's security, self-sufficient. We have conflicted, decisions, hot and cold, multiple choices. Confessions, unveiling, coming clean, messages. So they could come in and tell you, some kind of truth here. We have apology, forgiveness, return, and sorry. So they may confess something and apologize to you if you feel like this person owes you an apology. We have hopeless, sinking, despair, falling apart. That's definitely something they could have been going through with that Hermit and that 5 of Pentacles. They could have very much been in their head about things. And then we have confusion, uncertain, unclear, unsure. Maybe you're feeling confused about this situation, or that could have been a past energy for this connection. So we have indecision. You are afraid to make a mistake, so you won't commit either way. That could be one or both of you being indecisive about things. We have being guarded. You are lonely because you're so aloof. Trust others and let them into your heart. Yeah. So they could have been like not giving, right? If this is someone you were with in the past, like this is another message I got with that equal give and take. Maybe they are thinking they need to be more giving because they weren't telling you that they enjoyed being single and independent, and they were very defensive. Like this is about boundaries, right? So they could have wanted to stay single and been very defensive, or really had their guard up and kept their boundaries, right? But I feel like they're coming out of that because they do want this new beginning in love here. And then we have settling. Don't stay with someone who isn't right for you just because it's safe. So maybe that's something that you thought about, like there was no equal give and take, so you kind of ended things. Again, this could be somebody that you have dated, or maybe it was just somebody you really wanted to date and they weren't giving to this relationship, and now they're moving on from that and realizing that they didn't give to this like they should have. So I hope that message helped, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.